Only by tackling difficult problems can you really learn something. Let's take a look and see if this is hard or not. It says 1 over m plus 1 over m squared plus 1 over m cubed equals 14. Find the value of m. Some students might say, just guess. Is it really possible to just guess? If you don't believe it, try plugging in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 and see for yourself. It doesn't work. So what should we do? Some students have noticed, isn't this an expression as a whole? Everyone, what does this make you think of? The substitution method. Let's suppose 1 over m equals t, okay? So if that's the case, everyone, doesn't the original equation become t plus t squared plus t cubed equals 14? What does this turn into? It becomes a cubic in t, right? How do you solve a cubic equation? Look, let me rearrange it. I'll write the higher powers in front and the lower powers after, then subtract 14 to get 0. Isn't this a cubic equation in one variable? There are many ways to solve a cubic equation. There are many methods, such as factoring, the root method, synthetic division, and so on. Today, which method are we going to use? We'll use the trial root method. How do you use the trial root method? Everyone, take a look at this equation. If you factor it, it can definitely be factored into this form. T plus something else, and then another t plus something, all multiplied together to equal 0, right? It can definitely be factored into 3 roots. Since it's a cubic equation, it has 3 roots, so it can be written as the product of 3 expressions. Right? Let me first try to see if I can find one of the roots. Let's check if t equals 1 works. 1 plus 1 plus 1. No, that doesn't work. How about 2? If t equals 2, what do we get? It's 88 plus 42. Hey, that's exactly right. Did you all see that? When we substitute t equals 2, it works. In other words, t equals 2 is one of the roots of this equation. What does that mean? It means that this expression, it can definitely be written in this form. Since it has a root of 2, there must be a factor of t minus 2 multiplied by something t squared or whatever, something else. I don't know exactly what comes after, but there must be something. In other words, since it has a root of 2, okay, what does that mean? It means that this expression can be divided by t minus 2. Do you understand this reasoning? It can be simplified into this form. So how do we simplify it? Let's use long division. How do we do long division? We just use this expression and divide it by t minus 2. This is where long division comes in, which I explained before. How do we divide it? Let me demonstrate for you. Look, I know this expression can be divided by t minus 2, right? So let's divide it and see what we get. It's just like the division we usually do. We use this expression to divide by t minus 2 and see how it works. Here we have t cubed, and here we have t. So I definitely need to put a t squared on top. Why? Because t squared times t minus 2 gives you t cubed, right? Right? T squared times negative 2 gives you negative 2t squared, doesn't it? So subtracting the bottom from the top, t cubed minus t cubed cancels out, and 3t squared minus negative 2t squared gives you 3t squared, right? Then bring down the plus t and minus 14. Now use this to divide by t minus 2 again. What do we put on top next? What do we multiply t by to get 3t squared? Of course, we use 3t. 3t times t gives us 3t squared, right? Right? Negative 2 times 3t gives a negative result. That's negative 6t, isn't it? So it's negative 6t. Now, subtracting the bottom from the top, t minus negative 6t becomes 7t, right? Isn't that right? For the gas, it's its volume, right? What do we put on top? Of course, it's 7. Put 7 on top. 7 times t is 7t, right? Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14, which makes it exactly 0. In other words, this expression equals that times that. Do you understand this reasoning? Good. Then it's easy to handle. That times that equals 0. Right? T minus 2, this t minus 2, that times that equals 0. This equation is good. I already know one of the roots, right? P equals 2, right? That's one of the roots. So how do we solve for the other root? Do we use the quadratic formula? Yes, use the quadratic formula. What is 7 equal to? It's the quadratic formula. T equals negative b over 2a. Negative b is negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. b squared is 9 minus 4 times a times c. 4 times 7 is 28. Oh my god, this part is negative. The discriminant is less than 0. Since the discriminant is less than 0, there's only one solution, which means this equation has no real solution, so there's only one root left. T equals 2. So what is t? Isn't t just 1 over m? 1 over m equals 2, so what is m? It must be 1/2. If you don't believe it, take it home and try it out. That's why you have to master this method, everyone.